Hello everyone. In my previous videos, I explained AP DSC 2025 some of the questions. Till 21 questions I have explained. Now coming to the 22nd question. In reaction between carboxylic acid and alcohol product formed is usually acid react with alcohol produce ester. Ester plus water. This is the one. So now acid reacts with alcohol produce ester and water. Here carboxylic acid and alcohol produce the ester. For example, in examination they may ask you acetic acid CH3COOH reacts with ethyl alcohol C2H5OH. What will be the product? So CH3COO C2H5 ethyl acetate plus H2O. So from this H and then from this we have OH. So H plus and OH gives the ester and alcohol. Ester and water. So this is the reaction, very important. Acid react with alcohol produce ester and water. Now coming to the next question 23. Among the halogens, the correct order of amount of energy released in electron gain. So electron gain is nothing but electron affinity. Electron affinity, the correct order of amount of energy released, that is electron gain is nothing but electron affinity. So in the electron affinity we have among the halogens fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So from top to bottom, usually from top to bottom in a group, from top to bottom halogens group, affinity decreases. Why? Because greater the size, it is very easy to add the electron into this. So then what happened, that what we call it as electron affinity. So for this we can easily add the electron. Bromine also. But in case of chlorine there are 2p orbital repulsions are there. So 2p electron repulsions are there. Because of 2p electron repulsions, what happened, we have to give more and more energy to add the electron, to gain the electron. That's why the amount of energy released to gain the electron in chlorine case is very difficult because of 2p repulsions. So the order is chlorine is greater than, fluorine is greater than, bromine is greater than iodine. So among all this they did not follow this order. That's why you have to look into that. Chlorine is greater. In which case chlorine is greater? So this is the second case. Second case chlorine is the greater. This is the answer. Hybridization of orbitals involves usually individual atomic orbitals. S and S orbital are spherical, forms the a big pair. This is what we call it as mixing of atomic orbitals produce the hybrid orbitals. Mixing of atomic, say for example if you take p orbital, 2 p orbitals, then what happened, mixing of these 2 p orbitals. So whenever these 2 orbitals are combining, then what happened, mixing of those 2 p orbitals. Mixing of these 2 p orbitals is nothing but this is what the formed orbital is called as hybrid orbital. So here hybridization of orbitals involves mixing up of atomic orbitals. It is not removal of electron pair, not addition of electron pair, not separation of atomic orbital, mixing of atomic orbitals. Now coming to this. This question is 25th. Zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. Reason, copper is least reactive than zinc. First option is, say first you have to understand this, what is least reactive, what is more reactive. To answer this question we have activity series is there. We have activity series is there. What is this activity series? We have a series of metals arranged. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold. This is the activity series. What is this activity series? The metals which are above in the series are more active. The metals which are below in the series are less active. Less active, or we can say reactive. More active or more reactive. So now they have given zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. So how zinc reacts with copper sulfate? Zinc is present above, copper is present below. So then zinc easily replaces copper. Why? Because it is more reactive than copper according to this activity series. If you remember this activity series, it is very, very simple to answer such type of questions, whatever may be the metal. So ZnSO4 plus Cu. Copper is least reactive than zinc. This answer is correct. So both A and R, here they have given incorrect. Both A and R are correct. But R is the correct explanation of A. So option 2 is the answer. So likewise, based on the activity series, if you learn, say for example, if you are having iron plus copper sulfate. Now tell me, this is under note I am telling you, which is not the part of question. Iron reacts with copper sulfate. Then iron sulfate plus copper is found. Why? Because iron is present above, copper is present below, easily replaces. Now we have copper reacts with zinc sulfate. Then what happened in this case? No reaction. Why no reaction? Copper is present below, less reactive, cannot replace the metal which is present above in the series, more reactive. So that's why this activity series is very, very important. This is mercury. So this is about the activity series. Based on that, such type of statement questions we can easily solve. Now coming to the 26th question. So we have pure substance, suspension, colloid and alloy. Milk, solid solution, metal, cough syrup. Now let us see, first of all you have to know what is suspension. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture which scatter the light. Through filtration, we can separate through filtration. Means particles inside the suspension we can easily separate through filtration. In this suspension, particles settle down at bottom. Particles settle down. Say for example, if you are adding sand to the water, then what happens? All the particles are settled down at the bottom. Sand particles are settled down at the bottom of the glass. Likewise, particles settle down at bottom. We can see through naked eye. We can see through naked eye. This is what we call it as suspension. Now coming to what is colloid. Because if you know, it is easy to answer all this. So colloid is also heterogeneous. Heterogeneous mixture which also scatters the light, but we cannot separate through filtration. Cannot separate through filtration. A special method is there, that is what we call it as centrifugation. Through centrifugation, we can easily separate the colloids. Particles cannot settle down at the bottom. Particles cannot settle down at bottom. We cannot see the particles. Cannot see the particles through naked eye. See here also I will write scatter light. This is also scatter light. So these are all very, very important properties of suspension and colloid. See, in this suspension, we cannot see the particles through naked eye. Both are heterogeneous, both are changes the direction of light. Separate, this one separate through filtration, this one separate through centrifugation. Particles all are settled down at the bottom. In this, it won't settle down, and then we cannot see the particles inside the suspension. But in colloid also, in suspension we can see, why? Because all are settled down at the bottom. Colloid, in that all particles are, we cannot see through naked eye because they won't settle down. This is, what is alloy? Alloy is homogeneous. Alloy is homogeneous mixture of two or more metals. Two or more metals. That is what we call it as alloy. So alloy is nothing but a mixture of metals. Mixture of metals is called as alloy. So now let us see. Pure substance is there. Pure substance. Metals are usually pure in substances. So metal is pure. Alloy. Alloy is nothing but combination of two. Combination of two or more metals. So that's why alloy is a solid solution. Solid solution is nothing but which is a combination of two or more metals. Cough syrup. See, before taking the cough syrup, shake well before use. Why we are saying shake well before use? Because all the particles are settled down at the bottom. Whenever particles are settled down at the bottom, that is what we call it as suspension. Milk is the best example for colloid. Milk, ink is also best example for milk, ink. All these are colloids. So now let us see. Among all these things, AR, BS, CP, and DQ. So this is the answer. Answer is 3. Answer is 3. So likewise, properties of solutions I have already discussed in previous class. First question itself is the properties of solution. Now I explained the properties of suspension, properties of colloid, and what is an alloy. So with this question, all mostly properties of all the solutions I have already explained. I think it will be more clear to you. With this, I am concluding this video. Remaining questions we will see in the next video. If you have any doubts, comment below. I will clarify your doubts. But this activity, these type of questions, compulsory, these type of questions are coming. If you just remember this activity series, it is very, very easy to answer any question. Combination of two metals. Which one is present above, which one is present below, you have to see. Then the metal which is present above replaces the metal below. Why? Because less reactive. Likewise, you can easily answer the question. This question is very, very important. Remaining questions we will see in the next class. Thank you.